Yeah, I never did finish those stairs.
So, somehow after the complete shit show that was the Plankton movie is kind of good. It's not amazing, but for a movie meant to focus on one single character, it's what it needs to be. This comes down to a few things, mainly not imitating the last movie. We're not given a weird backstory that makes no sense, is actually somewhat interesting, and there's no pointless cameos or new characters shoehorned in just to give us notable voice roles. We have a premise that isn't random nonsense, as the title would suggest. It focuses on Plankton, and Karen, sick of him failing and his overall behavior, devises a plan to take control, conquer the world, and as you'd expect, she's pretty damn good at it. I'm not gonna lie, there are things that happen in this I don't like. It still has retconning, scenes that don't fit the characters. I'll never like the CGI. But the annoying scenes that plagued the last movie are kept to a minimum, and most importantly, the backstory is kind of well done. The plot is somewhat outlandish to random as it keeps going, but for a movie about Plankton, I do think it fits. It's fun, entertaining, doesn't do too much wrong, so it's more than I could have hoped for. And if you want a sign they put in some effort to not imitate the previous mess, we kind of get that right off. Now, I'm not going to say it's on purpose. It could have just been what they chose to do. But unlike the Sandy Cheeks movie, Plankton does not essentially imitate SpongeBob. Nor does he have an outro that imitates the SpongeBob intro. You'd think that'd be a staple of these movies, given they're all connected. But somehow, them not imitating that does feel like a good sign. This goes to show how bad that movie was. I'm not saying anybody cared, but you do get the sense they're trying to forget. The song we do open with is fine, not good, but not cringeworthy, aside from maybe this.
And if you don't mind getting wet, ooh, you'll love the clarinet.
Not as bad as really liking fish, and for a potentially young viewer, I'll leave it at that.
It's another SpongeBob movie.
All right, hold it right there, Frenchie. This is my movie. Dark in the skies.
Okay, you know what? That's a good transition. It's the exact amount of humor and fourth wall breaking that a movie like this should have. I like how they remember Spot as a thing, a newer character they kept. I don't know why him, but that's okay. But Karen is not happy with the way Plankton treats her.
This supercomputer is going to unleash a diabolical, all-consuming world domination!
So, due to the newer or modern episodes completely ruining this character, one course meal being one example, damn I feel old, you forget that Karen is still evil. She's not just some slave Plankton created, she does want the same thing, but it's obvious he's not gonna succeed. His new plan basically already failed, as Krabs knew about it. It's a bit odd, he refers to comics as funny books. As a newer episode shows, he secretly likes comics. I guess they missed that. But you know what else this movie does really, really well? The songs.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
While not the best lyrically, lean toward lines that aren't that memorable, the music numbers are pretty damn solid.
If you see me lurking outside your door, better grab your belongings and swim for shore.
The lyrics still aren't really stupid, and if you compare this to Sandy's intro, it's a night and day difference.
There ain't no denying, I love doing science every day.
Let's call for a Plankton. Get out of my way, I'm Plankton.
I like how Karen joins in, hinting at what's to come. Only downside is the song does abruptly end. That's because the plan fails, and so does the movie's no bullshit run. You see, somehow Karen actually made chum taste good, and somehow made the chum bucket into a successful restaurant. I can't overlook the fact that this happened within a few seconds, but similar to Sandy's circus backstory not fitting in, why didn't she do this sooner? Also, Plankton isn't happy about it because it's not evil, and this line is great.
It's still fast food.
There's the evil.
That's genius, but the retcon here isn't. Even newer episodes hint that despite Plankton clearly being evil, he's still happy if the restaurant does well. I'm literally showing you 3 when it happens by chance, and the only evil part is him being happy at Krabs' misery. Which would eventually happen here too, given he didn't end it. But he does end it with a fucking flamethrower, and that's not something Plankton would do. I like the part when he thinks about it.
Ugh.
And when Karen is rightfully infuriated, we have a conflict with some kind of build-up. Something the last movie did not have, and the same can be said for Karen's transformation. I'll bring up Sandy's pointless circus backstory again. This is way more practical, and believe it or not, will be explained more later. I like the different personality heads, snark, intelligence, hatred, it's a nice touch. It does look intimidating, and her song is, again, damn good.
Now's the time I'm gonna take control. Watch Bikini Bottom blow. I'm gonna rise up like a hurricane.
I love the way her voice is altered here. The unique animation used throughout reminds me of the good old days.
Building whirlwind, hurricane, say my name. Say my name.
Hate to say it, but despite the retconning, I'm actually excited. Is that normal? One downside here is Bikini Bottom gets picked up again, this time because she's using a magnet to create a new fortress, but there are some good bits. I wish. This part's a bit weird.
Giant magnet. There appears to be a giant...
But somebody just purchasing steel boots is hard not to laugh at. I like how not every character is prevalent throughout, with the exception of SpongeBob, only the ones who are really needed. Mr. Krabs and Squidward don't do much at all, and again, that's how it should be. Save it for their movies. Instead, we actually get to see more of Plankton's backstory, the fact that he was somewhat ignored in his family, being the only genius, and him building Karen out of a calculator and a potato does kind of fit. Not completely, it's still somewhat of a retcon, but not to the same extent. Some things are blatantly not what happened, and it comes down to ignoring a few lines. It's still an interesting backstory, I love the old cartoon animation, and the song is another banger.
The family biz was moonfish, but that buzzword for me. I dreamt of global domination. Sweet autocracy.
None of it overstays its welcome, no pointless cameos. You know what I'm referring to here. Most of the movie does not take place on the surface, but when it does, I can't believe nobody famous shows up. And I really like how they explain how Karen was upgraded, and then he initially put chips inside her for her personality. One of which being the empathy chip, the one she removed. It actually makes sense, and I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but this movie has some good jokes.
Plankton? I've been your roommate for 4 years.
That's hilarious. It just is. The like button is easy to see too, and the subscribe button is even bigger. There's also a link to the gaming channel in the description, in which you'll find similar content on games. Unfortunately, after entering Plankton's lair of, I guess, failures, and the backstory about their first evil plan failing, we have another retcon I can't get behind. They literally walk into the Krusty Krab without any issues whatsoever, full access to the Krabby Patty, and make the assumption that it's the key to world domination.
No! Not again!
So many things make no sense about this. You could literally just take the patty and leave. I would assume in this universe, analyzing it isn't an option. And you know it's not the same universe, as there is literally an episode devoted to Krabs and Plankton's backstory. Probably the most popular post-season 3 episode, and unlike the other retcons, I can't stand that they ignore that. In case you haven't seen it, this whole scene does not make any sense as a result, and I don't believe they couldn't have found a way around this. I don't want to complain, as I do legitimately enjoy this movie. When you have something that's so in your face we don't care, it makes you think the rest of the movie was just a fluke. Then again, given the recent efforts, it's hard to believe that, but it's not a good look. Back to the positives though, Plankton actually betrayed SpongeBob, and uses the old Karen parts to build his own robot. The reason I like this is because Plankton is still evil, and the previous main movie, Sponge on the Run, basically had him turn good for no reason. After he won. In the same vein, the second movie, Sponge Out of Water, which was decent, again had Plankton basically win, and then give the formula back. Then turned bad again right after, so that was pointless. But yeah, 2 movies when Plankton is gifted the formula, and decides he doesn't want it for a stupid plot device reason. One of those 2 was theatrical, but this simple Netflix movie at least remembers that Plankton was fucking evil. This theme is continued in the next song, but first the whole Karen robot fails. Instead they both merge together and turn on him. Really don't know what's gonna happen in this. Never thought I'd say that in a positive light. And in a move I never expect, SpongeBob actually has a backbone in this.
You're just a pitiful, pathetic jerk!
The fact that he'd have enough intelligence not to overlook the whole thing is incredibly rare. I mean, since season 1 rare, I'm kinda starting to love this movie. And then back to the song, it's kick-ass.
Well, I've been called a lot of things in my life. A dope and nearly a twit.
It's got some dumb lyrics, as most of these songs do, but then it goes from making you think he's changed to again still being evil. The transition is really a genius move.
Wait, but that's me. That's who I am, baby! I'm a jerk. I'm a jerky jerk.
Saying jerk over and over and over again doesn't sound that great, but I can't help but like this.
I'm obnoxious and annoying. I'm toxic, soul destroying.
So much effort that goes into systems and aspects.
I'm a jerky jerk.
After this, Plankton gives up and accepts death. It's getting kind of dark here. And then things start to get a little weird. The gal pals save him, take him to their secret base, which they have. Put the empathy chip inside of Plankton's brain so he can sympathize. But despite this leaning toward the stupid side of things, the pacing is surprisingly not lost. He does have a strange vision with even more new animation, depicting their steady decline. That's probably why people deem this the What Did I Just Watch movie, but I don't think I would call it that. It's weird, yeah, but it's not taken too far either. It being a bit odd makes the movie watchable, that's a good trade-off, and like I said, it's still well paced. There's nothing really remarkable about the climax, but given the circumstances, it could have been a complete disaster. The combination of the gal pals, Plankton being happy about everything due to the empathy chip, and of course Patrick being thrown in, it's a recipe for a complete fucking nightmare. Instead, the gal pals fight the Karen robot, nothing spectacular, and then they're ejected out because this movie understands they're not the main focus. Plankton then goes to apologize, and I like how it's not immediately accepted. He has to prove that he means it even without the chip. It doesn't feel that rushed, and more importantly, after it's settled, they proceed with their plan. Thing is, when he was still empathetic, he told SpongeBob to shut the thing down, so that fails. Everything floats back in place, meaning both movies end the same way. Hope they don't keep doing that. And the damage they cause isn't ignored. They initially want to punish them, but then acknowledge how much they like love stories. That's fine, I guess. The ending song is not that great, but the end credits song kind of is. And yes, for whatever reason, I like this movie. I can't explain either. This shocked the hell out of me. For a franchise leaving me disgusted to literally angry, it's amazing that this movie is somehow good. I heard some leaks about it being good and assumed it was nonsense, but honestly, the only real downside here is the retconning. If you exclude the show and accept that it's not going to be consistent, there isn't a lot to dislike about this. It's entertaining, the songs are real damn good, the right characters are focused on, and the storyline is engaging, properly paced, and even suspenseful. It brings back old elements you don't expect to see, SpongeBob having a backbone, Karen still being evil, or even Plankton being evil, and that's something most of the movies don't bother to do. It's a bit weird at times, but not too much. It's full of memorable, clever ideas, and again, has no pointless cameos or a backstory we knew didn't exist, insulting the viewer's intelligence. For the most part, I can't believe this happened. I love the creative animation shift. I really hate how they ignore the friend or foe special, and Plankton literally destroying his own business. There's still a retconning I can't ignore. It doesn't need to be there. But if you look past that, we, in some miracle, have a SpongeBob movie that's actually for the fans. Maybe in the top 5 things I thought I'd never see again. Netflix, Nickelodeon does not add up. But it's kinda hard to believe this happened by chance. The Plankton Movie gets my recommendation. Damn straight. I'm the Analyst, and remember kids, nothing is set in stone.